Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility, bringing you new album reviews all the damn time. Today we're going to take a look at, I can't believe it's 13 albums now for this Swedish band. That is indeed the case. Katatonia is the band. Nightmares As Extensions of the Waking State is the title of the new one. Napalm Records. Yeah, it's a long-ass title right there. There you have the deer on the front. In the woods somewhere, some kind of fire going on, right? Interesting artwork. There's the rest of the flock of them running around. Let's take a look at the digipack here. There's the bird. You got the CD is housed right in here in the sleeve, and then we've got the booklet here. So, of course, Katatonia, band who have been around for quite a long time. Staples of the Swedish metal scene. God, what do you call Katatonia now? They initially started off as kind of like a doomy, extreme metal, death metal band, gothic, progressive, prog metal-y. I mean, they've kind of done it all over the course of their career. And just when you think for quite a while, when you thought you had Katatonia kind of figured it out, they would do something a little bit different. But they've been kind of in this kind of zone now for quite some time. They go 13 albums. I've heard all of them. I have pretty much every one of them, I believe. I may be missing one or two, but they're one of those bands that I've always liked. I've never loved. I could listen to their albums. I get all their albums. I'm always kind of like, yeah, it's good. But they've never been one of those bands that truly, truly gets me like ridiculously excited about their music. I always enjoy all of it, but there's just something about it that like doesn't push me over the edge. But I like all this stuff, right? I like all of it. So again, this is their 13th album. We've got some changes in the band. So fairly recently, founding member Anders Nystrom, guitar player, left the band, right? So he and Jonas Rensky formed the band all those years ago. Well, Anders decided it's time for him to step away. Maybe he wasn't kind of overly happy with the direction of the band in more recent years. I don't know. But he is gone. We've got two guys coming in to replace him. We've got Nico Elgstrand, formerly from Entombed AD, and Sebastian Svaland, from Letters from the Colony, and also he was in Mourning. So these guys are bringing their riffs and solos to the group now. And so we've got, so in addition to those two cats, we've got Daniel Molinen on drums. We've got on bass Nicholas Sandin, of course, who's been in the band for quite some time. Founding member, vocalist Jonas Rensky. And am I missing anybody here? And Jonas also playing keyboards, right? So that's basically the band right now. Did I take you through the booklet? I'm not sure I did. We'll do that right now. And this album their last album came out in 2023. They've been fairly prolific over the years. I mean, they come out with albums fairly regularly. You usually don't have to wait too long in between records for these guys. Here we go. So what do we have on this album? I believe there are, about 10 tracks, 10 new tracks on here. Again, they're kind of mournful, somber, melancholy, yet always melodic, doomy, progressive metal, right? It's, to me, their music, at least not in more recent times, has never been straight on doom. But it is doomy because it is so kind of somber and dripping with melancholy, right? But there's not like, loads of these big, humongous doom riffs and things like that. The music is at times progressive, like there's like Mellotron on here, and there's various little keyboard tapestries from time to time and whatnot. Some of the riffs are kind of creative, and the soloing is very good on this album, I will say. But they're not like your typical prog metal band that does lots of solos and lots of complex passages, and it's very much more kind of somber and vocal driven music. And that being said, it's always very good. Sometimes I find, like, especially like the last 5 or 6 albums. They're all good, but they all kind of sound very, very similar. And I would say this is not all that much different, but it's still an enjoyable Katatonia record. It starts off with a really cool tune called Thrice, which I like quite a bit. The Liquid Eye brings you right in. Jonas's vocals, he's a really good singer. He sings in that zone all the time. He does exactly what he does quite well. The old days of him doing the kind of the vocal growls and things are pretty much long gone, but he's got this kind of like mournful, kind of like tortured vocal style. It's still melodic, but there's like pain behind it, right? That's the music of Katatonia. Winds of No Change, that's a pretty cool tune. Interesting lyrics in there, right? Some people, will be a little surprised at some of the stuff that goes on in that track, but it's a good song. Lilac is really good. And again, the atmosphere in that, just a really, really good track. Temporal is another really strong song. For me, I kind of like the back end of the album a little bit more. There's a couple tracks on the back end which I really, really love. Like Departure Trails is great, Warden is cool, but then The Light Which I Bleed is terrific. That's pretty heavy. That's kind of a little more doomy than some of the rest of the albums. That kind of comes into traditional doom a little bit more, and that's what I like. After Solon, and then In the Event Of is the final track, which again has just got big riffs and just really emotional vocals from Jonas, and it's pretty heavy, but it's just so dripping with atmosphere and melancholy. I kind of dig it. There's not a lot of up-tempo stuff on here, a couple bits here and there. For the most part, it's all in this kind of like, it stays in a lane and it doesn't drift too far from it. But you got some really great vocal passages. Some of the choruses are very memorable. Like I said, good riffs, tasty solos all throughout. It's just, this is not like happy music, but that's Katatonia for you. But it's just so well done. So, I've been reviewing Katatonia albums for years, and I always kind of find like I run out of things to say because the albums mostly don't bring anything really, really new to the table, to their repertoire, to their formula, but it's always well done. The albums are always enjoyable. The songs are fairly memorable, but it's all kind of like similar to the ones that came before, And I think that, Viva Emptiness and a couple of those albums right around that time period is when they really were starting to do some little more fresh stuff and kind of bringing new ideas to the table. And they kind of like, they found a formula and they've really stuck with it over the years, but they do it well. You can't really knock it, right? So for me, this is another one. I've seen reviews of this where people are hailing it as one of their best of the more recent times. There are other people who are saying it sounds like everything else. There's some people who are saying it's quite boring and unmemorable, and so it's pretty much all across the map. So I guess it's just going to have to be up to your interpretation of what you think. For me, I don't think it's any better or worse than the more recent ones. I all think they're pretty solid. I think this is pretty solid. I've listened to it a number of times already, and it's a Katatonia record. I like it, right? I like it. I don't think it's like anything that's going to redo the scope of music here in 2025. But as a band who kind of is very consistent and has been very consistent, they've delivered another really solid record, I think. So I'm going to give this 3.5 out of 5 star. Very solid, really good. If you like Katatonia, you're going to dig this. You're going to want it. If you haven't liked really anything they've done in more recent years, I don't think this is going to change your mind on the band, but you never know. I would just say give it a shot, right? So Napalm Records, Katatonia, Nightmares as Extensions of the Waking State. 3.5 out of 5 star. That's my review. Let us know what you think of it down in the comments below. If you've heard it, if you haven't, go check it out. Come back, let us know. And visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options. All down there. Thanks, everybody. Greatly appreciated for those who do support the channel, and we'll see you soon here with more stuff. I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.